Hey everyone, welcome to Otaku Talk. It's me, your boy, your host, OD. And today we're going to be reviewing and analyzing chapters 224 and 225 of Dr. Stone. I don't know what happened, but I completely had like a brain fart and didn't realize that the chapters for both My Hero and Dr. Stone had come out like last week. I did my One Piece. No, did I do my One Piece review? Yeah, there was a one. I did a One Piece review last week or the week before, and then I guess I completely forgot about the other chapters. So I'm going to be doing them both today. They're not going to be as long as usual. I just wanted to make sure to touch on them to just give a quick synopsis of what happened in my thoughts. Anyway, this is your first time on this channel, or you've been here but haven't done so already. Please do me a solid, would mean the world to me. Hit that subscribe button, bang that bell, like and share, would mean the world to me. And in this video, I may use some clips from the manga. I am trying to create transformative content here, and I'm not just going to be posting pages on the video for you guys to read. I'm going to be expounding upon the images I use. So I'm protected by fair use and whatnot. So YouTube, chill with that shit, please. YouTube Suecia. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into this review. All right, so chapters 224 and then 225, docking. All right, so I was so happy after reading 224 to discover that kind of what I wanted to happen in the previous chapter when they first take launch, 223 I'm talking about, where we get a moment where we just get this culmination and this like montage of everything like Senku has done up until now, him as a kid, you know, planning his rocket ship, preparing for it, like when this whole dream started before it was like a necessity. We get some panels here or there of him reminiscing and stuff like that. So I thought that was really cool. That was along the lines of what I wanted. I really wanted more steps. Like I really wanted it to be more selfish and focus on Senku from like a young ass kid to like kindergarten to like elementary to like middle school to like high school, right? I was kind of wanted to focus more on him, and we were getting some tangential panels with nature and then other characters and stuff like that. So that was cool. I didn't have a big problem with that. I thought it was super nice and super sweet that Zeno programmed his watch to wake him up early. That way he could enjoy being in space by himself for a couple of minutes to just kind of brace it all in, to kind of bask in his success, bask in his achievement, and the glory that is being in space. Like, I've always thought it would be cool to go to space. You would never catch me dead doing it because the vacuum of space freaks me the fuck out, as well as the fact that like I'm just aware of like anything can go wrong, and I'm pretty positive that like every astronaut gets like space cancer. I'm joking, but like the radioactive beams out there are a lot more intense, and I'm pretty sure in Senku's case, their spacesuits, while pretty dope and pretty well made, aren't going to be up to snuff of what we had prior to the Stone Age. So anyway, he gets to enjoy that. Then one after another, the rest of them get depetrified. First, we have Stanley, followed by Kohaku, and Kohaku's freaking out. She's never even heard of the concept of like not having gravity, and so for her, she's just like having a great old time. This is phenomenal. This is dope. Francois apparently made them like astronaut sealed ramen, so they got to enjoy that in space. So that pretty much takes down like what happened in 224. I know that there's more to it, but like I said, I'm just gonna truck through. And so 225 though is really what I really want to talk about. This chapter had me super hype. It had me smiling from ear to ear, and it cemented a character as my favorite character in the series just because I've loved him so much, and I've talked about him so many times in my reviews. But we'll get there. So 225, the plan has succeeded. They're in space, and also the other parts that they need to dock with have been launched into space. And now all our pilot Stanley has to do is attach everything, right? However, things do not go well. And once again, I'm loving this fact. I honestly wasn't expecting there to be any issues. I kind of just expected them to be like on the moon this chapter. So I'm actually kind of excited that the author gave us, some stakes, some dilemma, some. It wasn't a cakewalk as it shouldn't be. Like this is space travel we're talking about, and once again, my measure, my bar of standard is like how it is today, and the fact that it takes hundreds of trials, and on top of that, the world's greatest minds and machinery all working in tandem to like minimize like risks, like the rate of failure, if you will. And so for there to be a failure, I was actually very happy about, because it's something that they're going to have to work with on the fly. Senku doesn't have the luxury of having materials at the ready like he did on Earth. And when I say materials at the ready, not necessarily like they're near him, but like Senku's like, okay, it's fine. We just have to go here to get this. There's nowhere for him to go. There's nowhere for him to go. The only thing he has to work with is what's on the spaceship. And, that's not going to be a lot, because you can only, when it comes to space travel, weight measurements are a huge necessity. And so you can't just be bringing things just in case you need it as a probability. You can only bring necessities and maybe one or two things that you may possibly need. So really love that the mangaka did this. Really love the stakes involved. And so, but I will say though, I am not the biggest fan of what happened. So long story short, while the rocket is flying, we all of a sudden lose communication, right? Senku cannot hear anyone from, let's call them, mission control, right? And so he's freaking out. However, everyone at control can still hear Senku. It's only the issue is only one directionally, so that's kind of a good thing. Even though, I think it's more important for the people on the shuttle to be able to relay information, to hear information being relayed to them from mission control. But I think it's good that at least they can hear them. They know that the mission is not over. They know that they're still going there. They can plan if something does go wrong, how they'll fix it, right? And so the reason that the radio, the communications are not working is because there's an issue with one of the electrical circuits. Apparently, some way, somehow, what's his name? Yo's hair petrified in the circuit, and it's screwing with the electricity panel, with the flow of electricity, and so the communication is being messed up in that way, right? And so it bothered me a lot, because I was like, is what I'm meant to understand here is that essentially uh just a random loose fragment of Yo's hair just floated perfectly into the electrical circuit, and when it was time for the Medusas to go off, they went off. The hair unattached to the body, which I've never even thought was a thing till now, that like body parts unattached to a living human could also be petrified. I'm trying to remember if there's any moment in the series where that was relevant, but I digress. That's not important right now. I'm just kind of like, that's a little weird to me. I would have preferred, honestly, if this was like the saboteur again, right? If this was the traitor, possibly, like that would make more sense to me than, oh, just happenstance, this petrified hair got in the electric circuit and mess things up. But not the biggest deal in the world to me. And maybe it is. Maybe like that's just what Senku decided to go with. Also, once again, I do think that if there is a quote unquote traitor, I don't think that they're a real traitor. I think that it's one of those situations where they feel that what they're doing is necessary for the survival of the human race. It's just one of those big picture things, and we don't know the whole story, right? So anyway, on top of not being able to communicate with mission control anymore, we have lost half of our monitor, right? So then Stanley has to, being the badass he is, still try to get the sections docked while only having half visibility, right? And I thought that was impressive. I think what Kohaku said something along the lines of, "Hey, can you still dock?" And Stanley says, "Of course I can." And out in that moment, I was like, "Yo, that's what's up. That's why you were chosen. No regrets. I'm glad that we ended up going with you, right?" But all of a sudden, I believe the entirety of the monitor went off, right? Oh, what happened exactly? Okay. So the docking screen goes completely blank. And I'm like, wow, you guys are absolutely screwed, right? Part of me was thinking, okay, maybe, Senku is gonna have to like just fix the electric circuit. Maybe he has maybe there's some way, shape, or form he can remove it, resolder the component, and maybe like they might screw up one thing or it might be tight, but he can still save it. But Senku clearly states that like they don't have the means to fix this, they can't do anything. And so like we're kind of freaking out, like, uh-oh, what do we do? And all of a sudden we see that one of the other, I forget what to call them, segments of the spaceship is moving, right? And we find out that someone pretty much stowed away into space, which by the way is insanely crazy. It's super crazy because they're in a part of the ship that isn't quite meant for, I think, life. Like, yeah, it was possible for them to stow away, but like for them to risk not having oxygen, also for them to try to get the timing down of the resurrection watches, like there was just so much that could go wrong with this plan. And just overall, this plan was stupid. Just because I like the guy who did it, we'll get to that. This plan was really dangerous, really reckless, and really stupid. And I love that they did it anyway, just because it led to them being like the savior, and just me solidify and them solidifying themselves as like what my favorite character in the series. But long story short, we find out that the homie, the one that wants to obtain all there is in the world, my boy Rusui, has survived. And it just made me so happy and so proud because he gets to go to space. He gets to, he gets the thing he wanted. He gets to make a heroic entrance, and he gets to do the thing that, he wasn't sure that he was good enough to do, which I really do think Risui could have taken Stanley's position, but this just further cements that he could have done it. And so anyway, despite knowing that Risui's here, we're like, okay, how is he going to dock? And they were saying it would be a waste of fuel for him to like, I didn't even know like there were like boosters or propulsors or anything on this shuttle, right? And so I'm thinking that, I don't really know how spaceships works. This is just my stupid, like I watch a lot of sci-fi brain. I'm thinking that like he has like circuits, right? And like that are connected to the booster, and he's just like touching them, and every time he touches them, like maybe like a little like rocket boost or whatever comes to realign. No, he's not doing any of that. He turned himself into a human gyroscope. Like this man is literally inside the ship, just spinning around, spinning around, spinning around. And I cannot tell you how hard I died laughing. I was weak as hell. And you know what? I'm not gonna lie to you because I know there are gonna be some people that have this issue. I was like, okay, Dr. Stone has gotten extremely liberal in its use of science. If you've watched my videos before, you know I've talked about the is it Mohs science fiction scale. Basically, it's something based upon Mohs hardness scale, which is something used to determine the hardness of different material, right? And so they kind of made a TV trope version where it becomes how rooted in science is science fiction, is a certain science fiction. And earlier in the series, I would always say that I forgot the rankings. I didn't prepare this part of the video, but I always said that it was this specific ranking that, that it was rooted, there were strong roots in science, but there are liberties taken. Boy, oh boy, we have we are on the next stage because this is more than just some liberties. This is probably more than speculative science. The mangaka just said, "Fuck it, we're having fun with it," and I just think that as a manga, as the type of the medium of work that this is, I'm okay with this. I am willing to enjoy this just because there comes a certain point, and this happens in like One Piece all the time, where you have to determine, you have to ask yourself, yeah, yes, this wasn't necessarily like the greatest thing, but what did it serve its purpose? And its purpose was one, rescuing the mission, saving Senku and the rest of them on the ship, docking these ships, and also giving Risui not only a badass hero entrance, but letting him be involved in this mission. And for the sake of that alone, I am totally okay with what transpired. So I am super hyped. Can't wait. Super excited that they both get to go. I am less worried about Senku. He has three pretty much bodyguards, in my opinion. We got Stanley and Risui, who are, great with guns. We have Stanley that's good at, hand to hand combat as well. And then we have Kohaku, who's going to be one of the leader in the hand to hand combat. So we have, like I said, Stanley that can do both hand to hand combat, weaponry. Risui, who's got weaponry also, and Kohaku, who's got the hand to hand combat also. So I'm feeling super safe and secure for Senku. I'm feeling super happy for my boy Risui. Glad that he got to come out. Glad that he got to experience space. Glad that he got to achieve something he desired. And he obviously didn't die. So can't wait for the next chapter. Thank you guys for tuning in. And like I said, if this has been Otaku Talk, my name is OD. And if you enjoyed this video, please like, share, and subscribe. It would mean the world to me. Take care. And I normally say have a great weekend, but I'm doing this video like at the very end of Sunday. So have a great beginning of your week. Take care and peace.